recently, but a couple of years ago, I was watching an episode of this series called The Flash. And so, if you know The Flash, they're usually like just villains who need to be executed, and The Flash is this superhero. It's because he's quick and he comes, shoo, and he choppers you. That's not again. I think my theme should just be that's not the point of the story. So in this particular episode, there was a shapeshifter, and so this shapeshifter, it's just that shapeshifting. So if he came and he came next to me, like he was doing bad things, and so if like Flash is coming, Barry Allen is coming to try and get him, and he comes sits next to me, he takes up my form. He looks like me. Then if he goes kidogo and he he sees someone else, like he does whatever, then he can go and touch someone, or just look at someone, and then he changes his form. So at the end of this episode, they managed to capture him, and they put him in this box where I think all the villains in Flash were put in season 1, I think. Sorry, excuse me. And so when he's put in this box, of course he goes back to his form, and now in this form of his original form is a very formless form. Like he looks very, very ugly. And I don't know, I'll just share like a picture, and maybe Theory can be able to just put it here for you guys to see, or like a clip, insert clip here. Now, the point is, when Barry Allen asks him, okay, so you've taken everyone else's face, you've taken everyone else's form, but who are you really? And this guy sorrowfully looks down and just says, I have no idea who I am anymore. Like, I have zero clue on who I am. And so, and the episode just ends there, and he looks really, really ugly. When I watched that episode, I remember just feeling some sorrow in my heart. As first of all, recovering people pleaser. Recovering means I'm still on the mend. One of the things that can happen to me is that because I want maybe everyone to like me and to accept me, what I end up doing is that when I go to a certain place, I feel like don't be too loud, don't be too much yourself, minimize yourself so that people don't get, like if you're going to someone who is maybe very extroverted, be extroverted. If you're going to an introvert, be introverted. If you're going to a person who doesn't talk much, me who is I'm introverted to some extent, but I'm quite bubbly. Don't be your bubbly self. You'll offend the person, they won't want you near there. So what then ends up happening, I've adapted myself to all these people that at the end of the day, I have no idea of who I am. And so that's just my call to you guys. Do you ever find yourself in that place where you're constantly just changing yourself, forgetting who you are? I think this would be my charge, that let's go through the book of Ephesians, and let's read Ephesians 1 and maybe 2 together, and let's find out, what does God really say about us? What does God say about us? How does he see us? Other than just saying we're the apple of his eye, I think Ephesians 1 and 2 have a lot of promises, or a lot of imagery of how God sees us as his children. So maybe this can be a challenge. Let's do it for this week, and then as you read, maybe we can type it in the comment section and just share, who am I in Christ? Who does God say I am? Because at the end of the day, as Christians, we are called to be who God says we are. We can never find our identity in anything else other than Jesus Christ. Yeah. And to finish up, I remember, and this might be controversial for us Christians, but I remember when Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, but when Black Panther came out, there's a scene where the first war that's happening, T'Challa comes and he wins the first one. But then this guy, what was this guy, T'Challa's cousin's name, who came and was like, hey auntie, what's his name? Michael B. Jordan. But when Michael B. Jordan comes, I can't remember his name in the movie. But he comes and he challenges T'Challa for the throne. No, that's not the place. Back up, that's not where I was going. In that first tribal challenge. So there was a tribal challenge that happens, where of course T'Challa was there. He was T'Chaka's son, and he was supposed to become the Black Panther and the king of these people, the Wakandans. And so they're asking different tribes, do you want to contest? Guys are like, no, we're good. We see this guy as a king and whatever. Fast forward, another Jabali, the Jabali tribe comes, and Duke Winston, what is his name in this movie? Mbaku comes and he's like, you know what, I want to challenge you for the throne. And so they start fighting, and at some point he is really whooping this guy's behind. Like, for sure T'Challa was not going to be king, but at some point he's really like hit him, and he's like even taken, I think, like a club, and he's bent over T'Challa on it. And so when T'Challa is looking back, he sees his mom behind him, and his mom is like so agitated, and she's on the verge of crying, and she just says, show him whose you are. And then it's like all of a sudden T'Chaka gets this sort of like energy, and he just comes up and he's like, pow, and he hits this guy. Like, this guy had really, and he's like twice his size, but he comes and he really gives him a whooping, like a proper whooping. And it just made me think, is this the same thing that God usually says about us? When the devil has really thumped us and he's about to finish us, and God is like, remember whose you are, and remember who you are. Show them whose you are. And there's just that whisper. But if you don't know identity in Jesus, what are you showing? So again, let that be a challenge. Ephesians 1 and Ephesians 2. And then maybe you can even make a Bible study out of it for the next few weeks coming. So let's remember who we are. May God help us find our identity in Jesus. And again, remember whose you are. Alright, bye guys. God bless you.